Today on Ballistic Barbecue, I'm going to be cooking up what is said to be one of the best hot dogs in all of New York. We're doing the hot dog from New Way Lunch out of Glens Falls, New York. Let's get going. "13 years ago, a YouTuber by the name of Jason Hall posted a video of a top secret hot dog recipe, which included the secret hot dog sauce. In the video, this was again 13 years ago, you could personal message people. He would not disclose the name of the hot dog stand or the hot dog restaurant, but he said, if you want to know, message me. I knew Jason fairly well, so I messaged him, and he told me that it was a recipe from a very famous restaurant called New Way Lunch out of New York. They're actually founded in 1919. The same family is running this place currently. It's 4 generations old. And I guess a buddy of his worked at New Way Lunch and shared the recipe. They make it in-house. So I'm excited about this. In order to test this recipe, I actually ordered this sauce, and it arrived literally 15 minutes ago, so I'm stoked about that. So when I'm done with the sauce and we're making the dogs, I'm also going to prepare this. Sadly, 12 years ago, Jason unexpectedly passed away. It was a shock to all of us. The YouTube community was a lot smaller back then, a lot tighter back then. So it was a shocker. His channel still exists, and I'll post a link down below so you can check it out and see how YouTube used to be. It was a lot of fun back then. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do this recipe. Now, I noticed that someone has posted this on a blog, and looking at it and looking at when it was posted, I'm 99% sure that whoever posted this recipe online had got the recipe from, this video that Jason did. Anyway, let's kick this off with the sauce. I have here a pound of ground 80/20 chuck. That into the pan here. I'm just going to start breaking this up. Now, one of the things that's critical in this recipe is to really get the meat broken up into little teeny bits rather than chunks. All right, now to the beef. I have here chili powder, curry powder, nutmeg, and onion powder. Add all that, then start stirring it in. I want to make sure that this is coating all the pieces of meat. And again, really focusing on breaking down the meat into little teeny chunks. And this definitely isn't like a chili sauce you would put on a chili dog. You'll see by the end of this, it's very much different than that. All right, I'm going to throw in some salt. I'm just using kosher salt. This will be to taste, so I'll give it a good taste later. As Jason would say, some cracked black, some freshly ground black pepper. Again, this is to taste. Now some water. So again, I'm just continuing with the breaking up of the meat into these little pebbles. Once this starts to boil, I'm going to reduce the heat. And we're not going to thicken it up again like your traditional chili for a chili dog. It's going to be fairly watery. And if you watch any videos of them actually applying the sauce to the hot dogs, it's really loose. I mean, it's really watery, just kind of throwing it onto the hot dogs. One of the nicknames that the locals have for this restaurant is Dirty John's. The owner, the founder, I can't remember his last name, I'll post it. His first name was John. And you'll see it's just such an interactive way of applying all the condiments. The cooks, they get anointed with all this sauce and homemade mustard that we're going to be making here soon. All right, so again, basically what I do is bring this up to a boil. It's starting to boil right now. Reduce it, and then allow it to simmer until it gets to the right consistency. And I'll tell you this, I would advise preparing this at least 4 hours ahead of time to allow time for this to really meld. And I made some last night, which we're going to be using on the hot dog. What I'm going to show you now is their homemade mustard sauce. I'm using a pretty basic recipe for prepared mustard, and I think once you see how easy it is, you're going to be wanting to make it. I know I'm definitely going to be using this on hamburgers and stuff. So we'll kick it off with just some cold water, some mustard powder, some powdered turmeric, some kosher salt, some garlic powder, some sweet paprika, and this is garlic puree. Go ahead and add this to the mix here. I'm going to turn the heat on now, and I will start whisking this all together. Just want to make sure that any of the little chunks are being broken up. It's nice and smooth. And we're going to finish this a little differently than you would if you were just making regular table mustard. We're going to stop short of letting it complete the thickening process. So again, it's going to be mustard. It's going to have that taste that we all love in mustard, but it's going to be a lot thinner. All right, it's starting to bubble here. Now I'm going to add some white distilled vinegar and whisk it in. And I do advise, if you're making this, first of all, you need a non-reactive pot so it doesn't, discolor the mustard. But also make sure you have good ventilation. Right now I have great ventilation. Like that hot dog sauce we made, New Way's mustard that they're making in-house, it's a lot more liquidy than the mustard you're going to buy in a store. So what I'm going to do now is bring this up to a boil, bring it down to a simmer, whisking occasionally. I'm just going to reduce it until it has that consistency I'm looking for. Again, it's not liquidy as water, but it's a lot more liquidy than regular table mustard. And like that burger sauce or the hot dog sauce, I made a batch of this last night, so I'm ready to cook. And we're going to be using the stainless steel, the Wildfire stainless steel griddle, which is cool because New Way is also using stainless steel flat top, so we're keeping it legit. Meet you guys at the flat top. Wildfire's all revved up, running at medium high right now. Now, New Way is using a blend of beef and pork. These are all beef. I couldn't find beef and pork. Found beef and or pork and chicken, but I didn't want to do that. New House steams their buns. So I have these up on a rack here. Some water. Hot dogs are looking good. I can feel the buns are nice and warm. First things first, some of that mustard. Decent amount of chopped onion. Now we're going to try out both of the sauces, and there is a little bit of a difference. I'll show you the differences right now, visually at least. So there's the sauce I made. There's the sauce that I bought. You can see this is a lot browner, a lot more water. There's hardly any meat in this at all. I mean, little specks. Now this, however, when you stir it, you start noticing that brown, very similar color. So I think the difference is here is there's more fat in this 80-20. It's bringing, the spices up to the surface. There's a bit of a difference on flavor as well, but I think I actually fixed it. All right, so 2 hot dogs with the sauce that I made first. Two hot dogs with the sauce I bought from New Way. See, unlike, it's funny when I'm watching the videos of them actually preparing these things, I was seeing little specks of meat on the buns coming out, but I don't even see any meat in there. Now let's give these a try. And here they are. As you can plainly see, the New House version, you can't see any meat. And I was struggling to find meat inside the jar. It was almost like they forgot to put it in. And I don't know if that's how it is at the restaurant, but when I was watching the videos of these cooks at the restaurant cooking these dogs, when they were splashing on the sauce, you could clearly see little pieces of meat like landing on the bun and on the counter and everything. Mine definitely has a lot more meat. I think probably more than they use there. So I probably could have watered this down a little bit more. Now, as far as flavor, when I was heating these up, when I took this out of the jar, the New Way There was a tanginess. It wasn't a vinegary tang though. It was a citric acidy tang. And also I could taste more and also smell more nutmeg, and I could smell cumin and taste cumin actually, which wasn't in that original recipe. So I added some lemon juice to mine. I pumped up the nutmeg and added cumin. And I think flavor-wise, mine is pretty spot on. I just think I probably could have maybe diluted it a little bit more. That being said, there's more meat on here. I'm not complaining about that. Let's give these a try. It smells really good. It's really good. That mustard's really popping. You know, you're tasting the meat, the chili sauce meat, and getting all these really beautiful herby flavors or spicy flavors that you normally don't get on a hot dog. I like that. Now here is the sauce again that came from the jar from the restaurant. It's good. I mean, it's really good. The curry in the Hallsy's Kitchen version that I did definitely stands out a little bit more. It's more pronounced than this. They're both really good. They both taste very, very similar. I mean, personally, I like this better just simply because I like the fact that there is more meat on it. Sauce-wise, it's almost a draw. I'm still tasting more nutmeg in their version than this. I think I could have, well, of course, I'm betting the nutmeg will come out a little bit more as this sets and kind of absorbs it, but these are good dogs. So what I'll do, I'm going to post both versions of the recipe that I did, the one I modified in the original from Hallsy's Kitchen, and there'll be a link if you want to try buying some of the sauce. Again, came here in a couple days, and from New York. I'm on the West Coast, so that was pretty fast. Anyway, this was good. It was a fun video. Rest in peace, Jason. Cheers.